welcome to my channel. Subscribe, listen, and enjoy my stories every day. I am in the twilight of middle age, when reflections of the past blur into the harsh grin of the present. For over 10 years, I had been married to Carla, my second wife, in what I thought was a blissful union. My first marriage had ended amicably, and I had a 20-year-old son, Marco, from that relationship. The bond between my ex-wife, Elena, Marco, and I had always been solid, fortified by mutual respect and understanding. That serene picture shattered one rainy afternoon. It was a day like any other. The sky was a dreary gray, the type that makes you want to stay indoors and contemplate life over a cup of coffee. I was at my office, sorting through a mountain of paperwork, when the door slammed open. Startled, I looked up to see Elena, her eyes wild with a mix of fury and desperation. "Antonio, we need to talk," she demanded, her voice trembling but resolute. "Elena, what on earth?" I began, but she cut me off, storming closer until she was right in front of my desk. "I caught Marco in bed with Carla," she blurted out, each word landing like a physical blow. The world around me seemed to tilt. I stared at Elena, searching for any sign that this was some cruel joke. But her expression, a painful mixture of anger and heartbreak, told me otherwise. "That's not possible," I whispered, my voice barely audible. "You're mistaken." "I wish I were," she replied, her voice softening. "But I saw it with my own eyes. Ask him if you don't believe me." As she left, the room fell into an oppressive silence. My thoughts swirled in a chaotic whirlpool of disbelief and dread. I couldn't fathom it, Marco, my son, with Carla. It seemed inconceivable. Yet, the urgency in Elena's eyes, the raw truth in her voice, gnawed at my disbelief. Later that evening, I sat across from Marco in our dimly lit living room. His face was a mask of apprehension, his eyes avoiding mine. I needed to hear it from him, no matter how much it tore at the fabric of my reality. "Marco," I began, my voice steady despite the turmoil inside. "I need you to be honest with me. Did something happen between you and Carla?" His silence was deafening. Each second stretched into an eternity. Finally, he nodded, his shoulders slumping under the weight of his confession. "Yes, Dad," he admitted, his voice barely above a whisper. "I'm sorry. It just happened." The admission was like a dagger to my heart. I felt an overwhelming surge of anger, betrayal, and sorrow. My wife, my son, how could they do this to me? For days, I moved through life in a daze, grappling with the emotional wreckage. But as the initial shock wore off, a cold clarity began to take its place. I wasn't going to let this betrayal destroy me. No, I would turn my pain into a weapon, a meticulously crafted tool of revenge. Carla had shattered my world, and I was going to return the favor, piece by piece. The first step was to distance myself emotionally, to become the calm center in the storm of my emotions. I started by gathering information, observing Carla's routines, her habits, and her weaknesses. I played the part of the grieving husband perfectly, ensuring that she remained oblivious to my true intentions. One evening, as we sat together in the living room, Carla reached out to touch my hand. Her touch, once comforting, now felt like fire on my skin. "Antonio, are you okay?" she asked, her eyes searching mine for any sign of the turmoil she had caused. I forced a smile, the perfect mask of a man trying to heal. "I'm getting there," I replied. "It's been hard, but I'm trying to move forward." She squeezed my hand, a gesture that once would have filled me with warmth, now only fueling the cold resolve in my heart. I would bide my time, plan my moves carefully. Carla's life was going to unravel, and she wouldn't even see it coming. As I lay in bed that night, the first threads of my plan weaving together in my mind, I felt a grim satisfaction. Revenge was a dish best served cold, and I intended to serve it perfectly chilled. The pieces were in place. The game had begun. And I was determined to win. The following weeks are a blur of calculated maneuvers and careful planning. I know that if I am to succeed in my plan, I must be meticulous. My goal is to make Carla's life crumble from within, ensuring she feels every bit of the betrayal she inflicted upon me. I start by reaching out to my old friend, Luca. We've known each other since childhood, and he now works as a private investigator. He is the perfect ally in my quest for revenge. Luca, I need your help, I say, meeting him at our favorite bar. The dim lighting and soft hum of conversation around us provide a semblance of privacy. Antonio, it's been a while, Luca replies, his eyes narrowing in concern. What's going on? I take a deep breath and explain everything: Carla's betrayal, Marco's involvement, and my plan to ruin her life. Luca listens intently, his expression shifting from shock to a grim determination. I can't believe she did that to you, he says, shaking his head. But are you sure about this? Revenge is a dangerous game. I'm sure, I reply, my voice firm. I need to do this, Luca. Will you help me? Luca nods slowly. All right. I'll help you. But we need to be smart about this. We can't afford any mistakes. With Luca on board, we begin to gather information. I continue to play the role of the forgiving husband, maintaining the facade of trying to repair my marriage. Carla is none the wiser, her guilt and relief blinding her to my true intentions. One afternoon, as I'm sitting in my office, my phone buzzes with a message from Luca. Got something? Meet me at the usual spot. I head to the bar, finding Luca at a secluded table in the back. He looks up as I approach, a folder in front of him. I did some digging, he says, sliding the folder towards me. Carla's been hiding a lot from you. I open the folder, my eyes scanning the contents. There are photos, financial records, and messages, all pointing to Carla's secret life. She has been siphoning money from our accounts, meeting with unsavory characters, and engaging in activities that could ruin her reputation. This is perfect, I say, a grim smile spreading across my face. We can use this to start dismantling her life. Luca nods. But we need to be careful. If she gets wind of what we're doing, she'll fight back. I know, I reply. But with this, we have the upper hand. Armed with this new information, I begin to set the trap. I start by confronting Carla about the financial discrepancies. One evening, as we sit down for dinner, I bring up the subject. Carla, I've noticed some unusual transactions in our accounts, I say, my tone casual but probing. Do you know anything about that? Her face pales, and she quickly looks away. Oh, those. I meant to talk to you about them. It's just some investments I made. Investments? I raise an eyebrow. Without consulting me. She fumbles for an explanation, but I cut her off. We'll discuss this later. For now, I want you to stop any further transactions. She nods, looking relieved that I haven't pressed further. But I can see the worry in her eyes, the beginning of the cracks in her composure. Next, I enlist the help of an old friend, Isabella, who runs a popular blog and has a knack for uncovering scandals. Over coffee, I share Carla's secrets with her. Antonio, this is big, Isabella says, her eyes wide with interest. If I publish this, it will ruin her reputation. That's the idea, I reply. But we need to do it carefully. I don't want her to trace it back to me. Isabella agrees, and we work together to craft a series of posts that will slowly reveal Carla's double life. Each post is timed perfectly, dropping like bombs in her world, creating ripples that disrupt every aspect of her life. As the posts go live, Carla's life begins to unravel. Friends and colleagues start distancing themselves, whispers and rumors spread like wildfire. She becomes increasingly paranoid, her guilt and fear evident in every interaction. One evening, as she's pacing the living room, her phone rings. It's Marco. She answers, her voice trembling. Marco, what's going on? People are saying terrible things about me. On the other end, Marco sounds confused and worried. Mom, I don't know. But maybe it's karma. The words hit her like a physical blow, and she sinks into a chair, tears streaming down her face. I watch from the doorway, hidden in the shadows, a sense of grim satisfaction washing over me. The trap is set, and Carla is ensnared. But this is only the beginning. I have much more planned, and with each step, I will bring her closer to the edge. She will know the pain of betrayal, just as I have. And when the time is right, I will deliver the final blow. For now, I wait, the puppet master in a dark theater, pulling the strings that will lead to her downfall. The game is in motion, and I am determined to see it through to the end. The days pass with Carla's world crumbling further around her. Every day, I watch her unravel bit by bit. My resolve is tested by moments of lingering affection, but the memory of her betrayal steals my heart. There is no turning back now. This is a journey I must see through to the end. One afternoon, as I sit in my office, my phone buzzes with a call from Luca. His voice is urgent, cutting through the pretense of normalcy I've maintained. Antonio, we need to talk. Now. Where? I ask, sensing the gravity of the situation. Meet me at the old warehouse. You know the one. I hang up, feeling a knot of tension tighten in my chest. The old warehouse is where we used to meet during our wilder days, a relic of a time when life was simpler and less treacherous. When I arrive, Luca is waiting by the entrance, his face a mask of concern. He ushers me inside, away from prying eyes. What's going on? I demand, the anxiety evident in my voice. I've found something. It's bigger than we thought, Luca says, handing me a tablet. On the screen are emails, photos, and documents linking Carla to a criminal enterprise. Money laundering, fraud, even ties to organized crime. I stare at the screen, disbelief washing over me. This can't be real. How did I miss this? She's good at hiding her tracks. But this could ruin her completely, Luca says, his voice low. I take a deep breath, trying to process the information. We need to be careful with this. If we make the wrong move, it could backfire. Agreed, Luca says. But if we play this right, we can bring her down for good. As we discuss our next steps, I realize that we need to bring in more allies. People who can help us execute the plan without raising suspicion. My mind races through potential candidates, settling on an old acquaintance, Sophia, who works in cybersecurity. She's sharp, discreet, and owes me a favor. I contact Sophia, and we arrange a meeting at a quiet cafe. She arrives, her eyes bright with curiosity. Antonio, it's been a while. What's so urgent? She asks, settling into the chair opposite me. I lay out the situation, sparing no details. Her expression shifts from surprise to intrigue, and finally to determination. I can help, she says, after a moment of contemplation. But this is risky. We need to cover our tracks meticulously. That's why I came to you, I reply. Can you get us what we need? Sophia nods. I'll dig into Carla's digital footprint. If she's as deep into this as you say, there will be plenty to uncover. Over the next few days, Sophia works her magic. She hacks into Carla's accounts, uncovering a treasure trove of incriminating evidence. Each discovery is a nail in the coffin of Carla's crumbling life. One evening, as we're gathered in my living room, going over the latest findings, there's a knock on the door. It's Elena, her face etched with concern. Antonio, we need to talk, she says, glancing at Luca and Sofia. Come in, I say, feeling a surge of anxiety. Elena's presence is unexpected, and I wonder what news she brings. She sits down, looking at each of us in turn. I've been hearing things. People are talking about Carla, about her involvement in something shady. I thought you should know. We're aware, I say, nodding towards the files spread out on the table. We're working on it. Elena looks at the evidence, her eyes widening. This is serious. What's the plan? I explain our strategy, detailing how we intend to use the information to bring Carla down. Elena listens, her expression a mix of shock and resolve. Count me in, she says, finally. She hurt Marco too. I want to see her pay for what she's done. With Elena on our side, our group feels complete. Each of us has a role to play in the intricate dance of deception and revelation. We spend hours crafting the perfect plan, ensuring every detail is accounted for. The next phase involves leaking the information to the right people. Sophia helps us set up anonymous accounts, through which we feed the evidence to journalists, law enforcement, and key figures in Carla's world. The goal is to create a web of suspicion that ensnares her from all sides. As the leaks begin to spread, Carla's paranoia grows. She becomes increasingly erratic, lashing out at anyone who questions her. Her once loyal friends and colleagues start to distance themselves, the whispers of her downfall becoming too loud to ignore. One evening, as I'm sitting in the living room, Carla storms in, her face a mask of fury. Antonio, what's going on? People are saying terrible things about me. Is this your doing? She demands, her voice shaking. I look at her, maintaining my mask of innocence. I don't know what you're talking about, Carla. Maybe you should be more careful about the company you keep. Her eyes flash with anger and fear. She opens her mouth to retort but stops, a realization dawning in her eyes. She turns and storms out, slamming the door behind her. The tension in the house is palpable. Each day brings Carla closer to the edge, her carefully constructed life unraveling strand by strand. And as I watch her world collapse, I feel a grim satisfaction. The plan is working, and the final act is approaching. Our next step is to trigger a public confrontation, forcing Carla to face her accusers and exposing her to the world. We choose a charity gala, an event where she is supposed to be the guest of honor. It's the perfect stage for her downfall. On the night of the gala, we position ourselves strategically. Luca and Sofia monitor the event from a distance, ready to capture every moment. Elena and I attend the gala, blending in with the crowd. As Carla takes the stage to give her speech, I signal Sofia. She hacks into the event's sound system, playing the recorded conversations and evidence we've collected. The room falls silent, the damning words echoing through the hall. Carla stands frozen, her face pale as the truth is laid bare before everyone. Gasps and whispers ripple through the crowd. She tries to speak, to defend herself, but the weight of the evidence is too great. In the chaos that follows, law enforcement officials step in, handcuffing Carla and leading her away. The cameras flash, capturing the moment for posterity. As I watch her being taken away, I feel a mix of emotions. Satisfaction, relief, but also a lingering sadness for what could have been. Carla's life is in ruins, her betrayal avenged. But as the dust settles, I realize that this is not just the end of Carla's story, it's the beginning of a new chapter for me. A chapter where I reclaim my life, free from the shadows of betrayal. The plan has succeeded. Carla's life is ruined, just as she ruined mine. And now, as I step out of the gala into the cool night air, I feel a sense of closure. The past is behind me, and the future is mine to shape. Weeks pass after the dramatic night of the gala. Carla's arrest makes headlines, and the evidence we provided ensures she is held without bail. The public is enthralled by the scandal, and I am finally free from the torment of her betrayal. But as the dust begins to settle, a new kind of unease starts to creep into my life. One morning, I receive an unexpected call from an unknown number. The voice on the other end is a familiar one. "Antonio, it's Marco. We need to talk. Can you meet me at the park?" "Of course," I reply, surprised but hopeful. It's been months since we've spoken properly. Maybe this is the start of mending our strained relationship. At the park, I find Marco sitting on a bench, staring pensively at the lake. He looks up as I approach, his expression unreadable. "Hey, Dad," he says, his voice tense. "Marco, it's good to see you," I say, sitting beside him. "What's on your mind?" He takes a deep breath. "I've been thinking a lot about everything that happened. About Carla, about you, and about us." I nod, waiting for him to continue. "I know you think you did the right thing by taking her down. And maybe you did," he says, his voice softening. "But there are things you don't know. Things that have been hidden from you." My heart skips a beat. "What do you mean?" "Carla wasn't acting alone," Marco says, his eyes meeting mine. "She was part of something bigger, something that involved people much higher up. And those people are not happy about what happened." The realization hits me like a freight train. "Are you saying there are more players in this game? More people involved in the crimes?" Marco nods. "Yes. And they're dangerous. They've been watching you, Dad. Watching us." Before I can respond, my phone buzzes with a text from Luca. "Urgent. Meet me at the warehouse. Now." "I have to go," I tell Marco, standing up. "But we need to talk more about this. Stay safe." He nods, looking worried. "You too, Dad." I rush to the warehouse, my mind racing with possibilities. When I arrive, Luca and Sofia are already there, their faces grim. "We've got a problem," Luca says, not wasting any time. "Someone's been digging into our activities. They know we were behind Carla's downfall." "Who?" I ask, my voice edged with panic. "An organization," Sofia says, her fingers flying over her laptop. "They're powerful and well-connected. We've been able to trace some of their communications, and they're planning something big." As she speaks, a chill runs down my spine. "What are they planning?" "Retaliation," Luca says. "They're targeting us, Antonio. They want to make us pay for what we did to Carla." Suddenly, the warehouse door bursts open, and a group of men in suits storm in, guns drawn. "Hands where we can see them," one of them shouts. We raise our hands, the reality of our situation sinking in. We are outnumbered and outgunned. The leader steps forward, a cold smile on his face. "Antonio, Luca, Sofia. You've meddled in affairs far beyond your understanding. Who are you?" I demand, trying to keep my voice steady. He chuckles. "Let's just say we're the ones who keep things in balance. Carla was a valuable asset, and you've disrupted that balance." Before I can respond, one of the men approaches Sofia's laptop, glancing at the screen. "They're tracking us," he says to the leader. "Destroy everything," the leader orders. "And take them with us. We have questions that need answering." As they begin to dismantle our setup, I exchange a look with Luca and Sofia. We need to think fast. Suddenly, Sofia whispers, "The back exit. It's our only chance." In a flash, we spring into action. Luca and I tackle the nearest guards, creating a distraction while Sofia makes a break for the exit. The warehouse erupts into chaos as we fight our way out. We manage to escape into the night, the sounds of pursuit fading behind us. We regroup at a safe house Luca had prepared for emergencies. We can't keep running, Sophia says, her voice shaking. We need to take the fight to them. Agreed, Luca says. But we need more information. We need to find out who they are and what they're planning. We'll need help, I say, thinking of Marco. And I think I know where to start. The next day, I contact Marco and explain everything. He agrees to help, providing us with a lead on a key figure in the organization, a man named Victor, who operates out of an upscale club downtown. We decide to confront Victor directly. Disguised and armed with hidden recording devices, Luca and I enter the club, blending in with the wealthy clientele. We spot Victor in a private booth, surrounded by bodyguards. As we approach, Luca nods to me, signaling it's time. We push our way past the guards, catching Victor off guard. Victor, I say, my voice steady. We need to talk. He looks up, surprised but not intimidated. Who the hell are you? The people you've been looking for, Luca says, pulling out his phone and playing a recording of one of Victor's conversations about Carla. Victor's eyes widen. You've got guts coming here. We want answers, I say. Who are you, and why are you targeting us? Victor smirks. You think you can just walk in here and demand answers? You're playing a dangerous game. So are you, Luca says. But we're not backing down. Victor leans back, studying us. All right. You want answers? Carla was part of a network. We used her for money laundering, among other things. When you took her down, you disrupted our operations. And now? I ask. Now, we have a problem, Victor says. But maybe we can come to an understanding. As we negotiate, Sophia, monitoring from a distance, sends us a message. They're planning a major operation next week. We need to stop them. With the information we've gathered, we alert the authorities, providing them with the evidence to dismantle Victor's organization. It's a risky move, but it's our only chance to end this once and for all. The operation is a success. Victor and his associates are arrested, their network exposed and dismantled. Carla's crimes are also fully revealed, ensuring she has no chance of escaping justice. As I stand outside the courthouse, watching the fallout of our actions, Marco approaches, a look of relief on his face. We did it, Dad, he says. Yes, we did, I reply, feeling a sense of closure. And now, we can finally move forward. The storm has passed, and while the scars of betrayal remain, they are a testament to our resilience. The past may have been marred by deception, but the future is ours to shape, free from the shadows of our former lives.